Hi, when there's a bad picture from something, horrible events, then comes immediately the question why. That's why. People move too slowly. They turn too slowly. They twist too slowly. That is to say, I say that 3 days ago, it's always a question of swirl, how quick you whirl, how quick you. It's the sheer number of revolutions inside you. John Lennon has been right. It's time for revolution, but I don't mean a revolution for everybody to stand up. Why shall they? I can't stand words like solidarity or we have to stand together or something. I definitely stand with no one together. Why shall I? It's a question of spin around. And what happened to you is depends on the state of your number of spinning, of your number of revolution inside. How you look at it. The question is if you understand that your own mind is practically light. The light can be very, very bright. And the more bright the light is, the quicker you move. Too fast, as that anything bad can happen to you. It's not a question if you move fast always forwards. The question is if you move up. Yeah, and that is something what people don't like to hear. They're stubborn like moods. I was hampered all the time by my body. At the time I was healthy, my mind was completely dense. Completely dense. Actually, like my parents are. Well, I can't blame them for that. It fits. I was so my parents were. So no wonder. Yeah, okay. But now I am older, years passed, and now I come to the conclusion it's a question of the own movement, of the own ability to move. From a standpoint which is hard, near to a standpoint in which everything is bright and light. And that depends on my own movement. And that depends on my own spinning around about something. The only horrible thing here is that people can't construct their own lives. And they don't want to. No, the other guys do. The other do. No, that is not my fault. That was the fault of the other guys. Can you give me any simple, reasonable explanation why you stand near by people who are nasty and pretty ghastly? Why? Because your own speed was horrible slow. The people all together move too slowly. Any snail is quicker. Yeah. And that's it. Your God, which you love so much. People say all the time, although not everybody, but a lot of people say, oh, I love God so much. Oh, Jesus is my hero. Oh, really? As far as I can remember, he was dying on the cross. Yeah, for other people. Nonsense. Believe in that shit. It is shit. Nothing else but bullshit. When people love God, that means they love everybody. Yes, but now we come to the point where everybody is pretty confused. And I don't love confusion. Not at all. I like to be clear-sighted. I love my eyesight. In the moment my eyes don't look very well, but that doesn't matter at all. I say only just this. It's a question of your own number of revolutions and how quick they are, how fast they are. Inside your own mind. You don't have to discuss it with other people. If you start to discuss it with other people, you stand on the last side. Forget it. The more you discuss, the more you will lose. Of course. Yeah, but it can be that maybe they're right here, and maybe they have a point here. Oh, really? Why? Maybe she or he has a right point. Maybe. But what does it something to do with you? There's no reason for. We adore people like Stephen Hawking, Einstein. We adore people like Mother Teresa. I don't know why. We adore them somehow because they have a special point on something. Yes, maybe. But the only thing what we have to have in our mind is a logical thinking. What leads to what? What drives me to what? What brings me to what conclusion? And I have only to report for myself. That's all. There is no higher God. There are a lot of people who believe that, and even they help themselves with weapons to drive other people to the same point of view. It costs them a lot. Because I only can help with a weapon to bring somebody to do something, but I want that he do that. I can only do that when I slow down my own number of revolution inside me. That is the tricky, or that is the brilliance in that. I can't hamper somebody without to hamper myself. It is impossible. And it's clever actually, because maybe I start to do any effort to hamper somebody, to diminish him, that maybe it does take no effect on him, but myself. I'm pretty in the mess. If we would have this thing more logically, more clear, then we would have known at once. But we give so much sugar on it, and so much pity, and so much passion, and so much compassion, and horrible frommelness behavior, horrible demo behavior that it brings me to spite. Can't stand it anymore. Well, the bad news for me was that there was a time I was no different, not at all. But I lived up. That is to say, I don't care anymore. My body here is a bit too, he hampered me all the time and I can't stand it. And so I end it all. Of course I do. It is my free will to end this life here. Why should I not? I mean, we have no difficulties to save lives from people who are more than 102 years or something, and then they give the medicine that has a separate effort to keep him alive, and hamper him to just to die, which would have been normally for his age. Or we want desperate that a baby who was born very, very ill, we want to bring it into life. Why? When we on the other side say it is forbid, then the other side forbid suicide. Why? It is my own will. We have that what in Germany called Kaiserschnitt. When a birth doesn't work so well. Then we make a cut and bring and help the baby out of the womb for the mother, so that it is not necessary to extend the pain for both mother and child. And that way we are clever. But when a human being over 50, 40, 60 say, no, I want to end it all, and now I take some tablets and then everything is okay, I go off here, then we start to bring him help or something. Why? You see, when somebody is very ill, dement or something, have Alzheimer or something, then probably in the whole summing up of his life, he can't come clear with it. He can't solve it out. But the solution would be, it's a very simple solution, move quicker inside your head. Swirl, whirl, twist all the time. Infinitive number of twisting. The higher your speed in twisting is, the less confusion you will get. Our idea was, we have to solve out any problem. That is impossible. When there's a problem in which pretty much people are involved, I can't bring a solution for which is satisfying for all. Impossible. There's always someone who will suffer from it. To that conclusion we come already. So where is the solution? To lift up, of course. Not look at any detail. Why shall we? When I lift up, when I lift higher, then of course the details are of little interest for me anymore. We say love lifts us up. Yes, sometimes. When you love something which is pretty worthwhile, but I can't see that people are worthwhile in the state they are momentarily. They don't want, they refuse. They want to be as stupid as before. They're stubborn as mules. Only when I ask them, lift up yourself. Turn higher, quicker, faster. Infinity speed of light. How can I do that? You think. Your thoughts are much more quicker than light. Infinitive times more fast than light. Can't be surprising. Not anymore. I wonder if I could have told people that 300 or 400 years before. Probably not. Nobody would understand. I can't blame Jesus Christ that he wasn't able to tell them that people 2,000 years before. No, I don't blame anybody. Why shall I? I lift up. I don't care. And that's it, what I try to tell people. And honestly, I don't see why I shall suffer from a body which happens me all the time. That reminds me a bit of my former self, which bring me in contact with people who are pretty well the same as my former self. My former self. Well, so I can't stand them, honestly, but I don't blame them. I simply say that. I can't stand them anymore. That is to say, I can't stand me for 40 years ago. Okay, it's a kind of development, and everybody can lift himself or herself higher if you want to. Yes. And how we now explain that to other people? I don't know how you want to tell them other people. And the funny thing is, you don't have to. Why shall you? It's a thing between you and yourself. That's it. Of course you have a higher self. Of course you have. And you can talk to him any time. You always have time for you, of course. Your own self, of course. You can't expect from other people that they always listen to you. Why shall you? Why shall they? Normally they are busy with themselves. Right. Exactly. That's it. I tell you what, probably some people know the movie, still know the movie, Life of Brian. And I tell you what, the Pythons have a pretty good guess about that. A pretty good guess. I haven't been sure probably, but I think they start to know. And I remember at the end of the movie, Eric Idle said, oh, come Brian, lift up, cheer up. You come out of the nothing, you go into the nothing. What do you lose? Nothing. In that way, I have to correct it a little, because it is not the question of you lose nothing. You have to lose your own light. And that is something very, very precious. Your own light is very precious. Never forget that. And I've never have a doubt on that. You see, your light is only darkened by your thoughts, by nothing else. No one can darken your own light. That is impossible. But you always can lift up your light. You can defend your light. And that is what you actually have to do here on the earth. That's it. Here, much people don't understand that from my opinion. And I think it's time to leave this lovely country. I mean, here the people start to become rather upset, and so upset you can't talk with them anymore. Impossible. To that comes that a lot of people don't speak my language anymore, and neither English nor German, and much too much people stick to their own kind, tradition, and so on. And I think no tradition comes into my mind, which has been useful at all. Nothing. And so I don't care about nothing. So when I don't care about nothing else but me, I have to ask myself what is better for me. And I say, forget it here. The people have only had one talent, really, to make themselves in life pretty difficult. Only because they don't lift up themselves. They wait for a God that he do that. And now tell me something. How idiotic is that? Much. Much too much. Well, I give this the information that God is the assumption from us all. I mean, the number of all of us is now pretty clear. I mean, that's because God sees everything, because we see everything. And that is because God stands always on your side. Yes, of course he does. And he stands on the side of the others as well. God are ourselves. Remember, everybody was built up the God we always pray on, but we don't have to pray. Why? Well, sometimes it clears our mind, and then we feel a bit comforted and a bit lift up and whatever. But honestly, I don't believe in God. That would mean that I believe in that would mean that I believe in anybody else. And I'm sorry. Maybe I was a bit foolish, but I wasn't an idiot. Well, and I think you come to the same conclusion. Maybe you have been a bit much, behave yourself foolish. Yes. But you wasn't an idiot. Not really. It was a question of how you look at something. It's always the same. It's always a question of the perspective. And I tell you what, there's only one hero in my life, really. And that's Agatha Christie. She was so unbelievable logically. She was so unbelievable simple in the way how to look up something, and strict, and has been very strict logical. No sentence that dropped by and mean nothing. But it was logically that somebody tell that and do that. Well, it's the same with us. No word slip in your mind which isn't logically there. And so you have to look at yourself very carefully and all the time. Why do I think that? And why is it there? And why? And what has that to do with me? You are pretty much the most important person on the whole world for yourself. And that's enough. That's enough. I don't need your fans. I don't need anybody, but I know I need myself strictly. I need myself in the best way I can be, and I want to live in the near of some people who are all as well come to the conclusion they have to make the best of themselves. But when people want to make the best of themselves, nobody has to shut anybody. Will shut anybody. And here another sentence from Life of Brian. No one has to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. And that is you. No one has to shut me or has to shout at me or something until I blow this whistle. That means then when I don't have the number of revolution to be blamed for something, or that somebody can shout at me or can harm me, then nobody do, and nobody will do, and nobody does. And that is due for yourself as well. You get it? Finally. Now we have to wait until 80 billion people in our country and 80 billion, 40, 60, 80, 100 people in your country get it as well. Then we can lay our pistols and guns and whatever and bombs and we can throw them behind us. Highest time true. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. And thanks that you are brave enough to listen to yourself. You can believe me that as long as people are always saying the Bible or the Quran or the Quran or something else, Tentatoich or whatever, you have to read the Bible and to look and to see what is right. Then they really can throw themselves away, because that is, of course, nonsense. You are the only one who tells you what is right and what is not right. What is right and what is wrong. You are the only one in your own life who can tell you that. But you are always, and as well, a smart observer. If you think that that is what you think now, correct or not, and if you really think that it's right. And why you think that? Does it lift you up or bring it yourself down? Can't be so tricky to understand. It can't be that hard to understand, I mean. No, it isn't hard. Of course it is hard. It isn't hard to understand. No. but it's hard to do it because your body tells you something. And you come often to the conclusion you live here really in a stubborn mood, like me, and I say, no, I want to end it all. I think it's time to leave this lovely, lovely body, it's time to leave this lovely earth, and it's time to leave this lovely planet, because I see different now, and I'm enlightened by me, by myself, and it wasn't necessary to wait for Jesus Christ to do that. And by the way, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ is a thing actually, because Jesus Christ never died for anybody's sins. It is of course nonsense, but he have a crystal clear energy in his mind, and a crystal clear energy in your mind. You shall become. You shall become. You shall get a crystal clear mind. You become to be. And then you know quite well it is not necessary to huge about something. You become bright. You become light. You become a very easy way you become the ability to follow a very easy path to make yourself bright enough to seek through the problems and through the things which are surround you. Yeah. And don't explain too exact what harm you. You know, the book Harry Potter was now really a bestseller of bestsellers in a very quick time. Highest time too. But there was one thing that was very interesting, and I want to bring it a bit near to you. Do you remember maybe that in this book, the bad guy, so to say, will never be named? That was a guy who must not be named. Why? Why can't they say the simplest name? Because when you say something very clear, and when you are able to make a pretty clear point from something, you drift in his rotation. I say you can whirl, you can swirl all the time. There's always a number of revolution inside you, and that means nothing else but rotation. Circulation. And when I now look at it when I now look at something very, very carefully, then I become a part of this rotation, this circulation. And I don't want to be a part on something which is pretty nasty and pretty ghastly. The name rotation just slipped into my mind when I say the number of inner revolution. That is rotation from yourself. A high rotation from yourself. And when you rotate very, very quick, and very, very, very fast, and rotate and rotate and rotate very, very fast, then you lift up from all the problems here on the earth. And you don't come in touch with something what you don't like and what you refuse. Well, I hope you understand. It will happen. It will mean a lot to you, of course. Not to mention that it will save you. Of course it will save you all the time. From everybody, from everything. The more people look at it, have this point of view now, the better it is for all. And I want to make a point on that. It is of no interest at all who say that first. Because everybody has to nurse his own rotation. It is of no interest who comes first to the point. Who is the first? Who cares? Only a very slow crowd of people, very, very slow, think it is important to look at something who is faster, who is quicker. It is of no interest, because everybody comes to the right conclusion for himself when the time is ready. And when the time is ready, that means actually only that the rotation is high enough or low enough. That depends what you find. And that is due for everybody and everything. Even the horrible things that happen in wars in former times, whatever. I think we can tell. We have all read history books, and I think we have had history in school, so we know somehow what happened in Germany 80 years ago, what happened in the DDR 55 years ago, 60 years ago. I think we can tell. We know what happened in Argentina, we know what happened in China, we know what happened in the USA and in the USSR. Don't bore me all the time with that. So sooner or later, I don't care. But it's funny when people give their some effort that they want to bring you to come to the point again. That's so horrible dangerous. When they always say stick to them and stick to them and stick to that group and stick to that kind of whatever, that is pretty dangerous. It brings you in a high danger to rotate in the same speed like that. And honestly, our politicians in every country here, numbers say someone is the same, are pretty slow in thinking. That's it. I don't want to name. I don't want to say or to utter any names here. That are the guys who must not to be named, which are not to be named. Okay, I think we get it. Hopefully. Forgive me my English grammar, but it's a pretty long time ago that I was able to speak English fluently. I'm so sorry, but I hope you understand nevertheless. Thanks for listening. And thanks that you are ready to listening to yourself. That's the beginning of any wisdom. And that's the beginning of the true wisdom.